Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the Almighty Network YouTube channel with me, Panacotta. And for this one I wanted to do a similar thing as I did last time with my video on my favorite Pokemon for each type. This time the exact opposite, my least favorite Pokemon for each type. And I don't want to talk too much right on the intro, let's just get right into it and start off with the Grass type. Grass type was a bit difficult, I gotta say. Like, Grass type has some lows, some highs, but I wouldn't really say that I hate any Pokemon there in particular. They are all fine, right? Like, they're at least passable. But I had to pick one, and the one I like the least has to be Carnivine. Carnivine just looks goofy, I don't know. I have never met anyone who says Carnivine is their favorite grass type. I think that's for a reason. Like, stat-wise, like gameplay-wise, it's nothing special. It's really barely used for gameplay, like competitive reasons, and even design-wise, like I guess it's like okay, but not really my vibe. Like I don't know. I've never really played a Pokemon game thinking like when I come across a Carnivine, I'm like, yeah, I gotta use this. Like, this guy, I was waiting for, like, no one is waiting for this Pokemon. No one will use this voluntarily. Only maybe if you're playing a Nuzlocke and you have to use it. But other than that, really? Nah. But it's a bit different for the next type, the Fire type. For Fire, I'ma go, I think it's a like very popular pick. It has to be Sinistee, the fire monkey from the monkey trio in Generation 5 Black and White. This monkey just looks like ass, okay? Huge ears, weird hair, weird pose, like I don't know what the monkey's doing there, and weird ass face, like why are you looking at me like that? And in fact, the whole trio is goofy. Like I don't like any of the three monkeys, but this one really it just puts you off looking at it, and it's also very bad gameplay wise. Like, you would only use this monkey like once if you struggle with the first gym leader, because if you pick, for example, like water type, the opponent is gonna have a grass type Pokemon and you need fire to beat it, so you might catch this monkey. But honestly, not really. Like, it's just bad. It also, I think, if I remember correctly, this is like one of those few Pokemon that won an award or a poll for ugliest looking Pokemon ever, like back then when it came out, which is kind of crazy. if I'm being honest, this just shows you how bad this Pokemon really is. But I'm gonna let this monkey just be. Let's go on to the next type, Water type. For water was one of my favorite types, so it was a bit difficult finding one, but then I remembered that Bruxish exists. This weird ass looking fish, okay? Is it a fish, like is it a shark-ish type, like animal? I don't know. It just looks weird. Why does it have these fat lips? What is the color pattern? Like, I don't get it. Like, who in their right mind would use this? I certainly wouldn't. And I mean, you see the picture here. I'm gonna edit the picture in. No one is using this on their own volition. Like, no one is using this, and it's also kind of ass in gameplay perspective. So forget about this. But like, this is some ass Pokemon. For normal, yeah, I have to go with Rattata, whatever. I don't think that many people will call this out as the worst Pokemon for normal type, but I just don't like this rat, this mouse, whatever you want to call it. It just gets annoying seeing it all the time when you're looking for a certain Pokemon, like in the early gens, and for some reason they also added this Pokemon in like every other gen, and in Sun and Moon it also has an Alolan version. Like, this was not needed. We don't need more mice and rats. They are useless. No one plays them competitively. No one plays them in a casual playthrough. They just exist. And for some reason they get different forms. I don't get it. Get that shit out of here, honestly. Yeah, but let's move on. Electric type. Electric type, this isn't easy for me. It has to be Circuitry. Circuitry, I mean, look at it, right? It just looks off. It doesn't look like an actual Pokemon. If you show this Pokemon, if you show Circuitry to someone who stopped playing after like Gen 4, Gen 5 or earlier, they will think you're trolling. They will not believe that this is a Pokemon. This is just too outlandish. And I get it, right? I get the design, what they were going for, but it's just too much, right? It's just a couple cables walking around and a spiky white ball as like on top. Is it the head? We don't know. Gameplay wise, it's like okay, it's fast and hits fairly hard, but I mean, it just gets one shot by any ground type. I don't get it. Like, this Pokemon is just too much, right? They went too far. But I mean, this is more or less the same with most of the beasts from like Ultra Beasts, I think, from Sun and Moon. But some of the beasts have nice designs, and this one is just, as I said, too much. Let's just move on. Psychic type. Psychic type, I don't think there's a lot of discussion needed, and I think most people will agree with me on this. Mr. Mime is one of the ugliest and unnecessary Pokemon in all of Pokemon. I don't know who in their right mind sat down and first made this, second approved of this. Who just sat down and said, yes, this is the design we're going for? Isn't Mr. Mime like Generation 1? If it is, this is even worse. Like, you have so many designs, right? Fans probably could make you more designs, and you pick one that's way too humanoid. This is just straight up a human, okay? It just doesn't fit. And now tell me why Mr. Mime gets 3 different forms, right? 3, it's not just 2, like he has an Alolan form. So now tell me why he gets another form, like an evolution of the Alolan form in fucking Sword and Shield. We don't need Mr. Rhyme. They all look like ass. Gameplay wise, they might be fine, like the typing, like Psychic Fairy or Ice Psychic, like I guess that's fine. But really, I would not be playing this. If I see this in a casual playthrough, I'm going out of my way to kill it. I'm not even running away. I'ma kill this motherfucker. I don't care. It just looks creepy, especially for those who watched the Pikachu, like Detective Pikachu movie. This Mr. Mime guy appears there as a, I think, detective or something, or not detective. It's like he's like one of the witnesses. It just looks creepy all the time. In CGI, it's even worse. Like in the movies with CGI, hell nah. Fighting type. Fighting type was difficult. Fighting is like my second favorite type probably, right after Ghost type. So it was a bit difficult finding one, but then I came across Crabominable, and I remembered how much I disliked this Pokemon in my Sun and Moon playthrough. Why does it have blonde hair? It's like on some European living in the mountains type beat. Why does it have this ugly ass face? Why can't it be a regular crab? In fact, we already have multiple crab type Pokemon. We don't need more crabs, okay? It just looks weird. White, light blue, and dark purple, and then blonde is just, like with Circuitry, too much, but in a different direction. It just looks almost too human. I hate the trend of Pokemon becoming too humanoid. Like the first version of this Pokemon, I forgot its name. It's just a regular crab, right? Nothing special. But then the evolution is this, and it looks ugly. I would never use this, right? Gameplay-wise, it's not that great, and type-wise, it's also not that great. Like, I don't get it. Who would really sit down, catch this, and use this? I don't think anyone will. And if you say yes, you're capping. I don't believe you. Rock type. Rock type is okay. First and foremost, I have to say my pick is probably a bit controversial here for rock type, because I know a couple people who like this Pokemon, or tolerate it, but I have to go to Geodude. Geodude, I think, is like the first ever rock type from Gen 1, and I hate this thing. Just a stone with 2 arms. Like, why? I kinda get it, okay, I get it, but really? You would really use this? The whole evolutionary line, like all the 3 Pokemon look like ass. It has a different version, and I think Sun and Moon, like, it gets electric type instead of ground, I think, which makes it maybe better. I don't know. Like, it gets a 4 times weakness to ground, so I guess that's worse. But nah, I never used this Pokemon ever, and I played like almost all the games except for, I think, Gen 1, and this is the generation this motherfucker came to be, and for some reason Geodude is in like every game. They put him in, like, I don't know if he's in Sword and Shield, but for some reason Geodude is in every fucking game, and I just don't get it. It looks ugly, plays badly. Get it out of here. And now for ground type. Ground type is arguably even worse. It's Stunfisk. When I, as a kid, played Gen 5, because it was my first generation, and I saw this Pokemon, I thought it was some meat lying on the ground. I didn't even know it was ground type. It's ground electric type, if I remember correctly, and it also has a second form in, I think, Sword and Shield. I think like ground steel or electric steel, I'm not sure. This Pokemon is really weird, really. Some wings, so it can apparently fly in 3D animations. It, like, on the back it has like parts of a fish. Can it swim? I don't get it. And then the eyes and the mouth. Who designed this? Can I go there to Game Freak and fire the guy who designed this? Because this is some ugly ass shit. No one is using this. I'm certainly not using it. If you use it, I guess, I mean, go off? Nah. I'm gonna beat you in the face if you use this. Get it out of here. Get it out of here. Delibird. I mean, flying? Okay, I already spoiled. Flying type. Delibird or Delibird? I don't even know how to pronounce it. It has like 2 ways of pronunciation. I know many people have this as their favorite poke, or like one of their favorites for flying type, but I just don't like this guy. Design wise, it's like alright, like Santa Claus type beat, alright, the white and the red. But I just look at this Pokemon from a gameplay type of perspective. It has 3 abilities, and 2 of those abilities are exactly the same thing. I think it's like Insomnia and Vital Point. I think they are called this. And they prevent you from falling asleep. Both of them do the same thing. So why does this Pokemon have this same ability twice, just with a different name? I don't get it. What was Game Freak smoking when they made this? The design is cool, but the moveset is also ass. The stats are pretty bad. But when I see this Pokemon in the wild, like my casual playthrough, all it does is just throw presents at me. Most of the time they just heal me, so I don't get it. Okay, I don't get this Pokemon. It has a nice design, but all the like everything else is just ass. Everything else is just wrong. Like for some, like it would be better if they fixed it, but for some reason this Pokemon is pretty much useless, and no one would use it, like voluntarily at least. Moving on to Bug type. Bug type, probably my least favorite type in general, and I have to go with Metapod. Because, I mean, even though I don't like Bug type, design-wise most Bug types are pretty cool, or alright, but this one is just boring. Boring looking. If you meet it early on in a few of the games, it just uses Harden all the time, and if you don't have a special attacker, good luck getting through, especially if you don't have a fire type. Like if you don't pick the fire type and you see this, good luck beating this thing. Because I know that me and many other people had a hard time against these Pokemon, especially if like there's a trainer with 6 of them and they all use Harden. you're never getting through. Absolutely never getting through. I mean, it's just boring, right? The evolution is pretty cool. I think it's like Butterfree or something, like the butterfly. That's alright. But this version is like, I don't like it. I just don't like it. Poison type. I have to go with Garbodor. Garbodor looks like ass. I get the design, like a ripped trash bag, but that's it. I guess it fits since it's poison type, though I would probably prefer if it were poison dark type. If you give it the dark type, it would benefit from it and gain some immunities, like some more immunities, like it would be more viable. But gameplay wise, it's only like, I would only use this if I were to play like a hazard heavy team with, for example, like toxic spikes, regular spikes. But other than that, this Pokemon, it just doesn't do it for me. Weird eyes, weird mouth, weird hands. It just looks weird. I don't know. Can't really explain. I just don't like it. Dark type. Dark type is difficult. I like dark type Pokemon, but for this one, I had to pick, and then I went through the list and I saw Alolan Persian. I'm not a huge Persian fan myself. Like, I don't like cats in general all that much, but Alolan Persian is like, I don't know, it just looks off. And I think it's the head. The head is just too big. I get the reference or the reason why the head is like so round, right? It's like the rich people have these round head cats, whatever. But it looks weird. Okay, I'm just not a cat person myself, and the head is just too big. It is gameplay wise, it's really fast and hits pretty good, pretty hard, but on the other hand, I also never saw anyone use this Pokemon voluntarily. I myself never used it when I played Sun and Moon. It's just, it's not like, I don't hate it. Like, it's not a bad Pokemon per se, but definitely not my favorite type of dark type. Like Pokemon for dark type, just not my flow. Ghost type. This is like one of the best examples for lazy design, in my opinion. Sinistee, I get the idea, like poltergeist type beat, like flying objects, like a ghosts possessing objects and they're flying around. I get the idea, but Rotom already exists. Okay, Rotom already exists. We don't need a teacup. We don't need a teapot as an evolution. Gameplay wise, it's only good with Shell Smash and probably White Herb, right? To outspeed and just sweep. But design wise, I don't fuck with it. Making inanimate objects to Pokemon, I don't know. It's just lazy to me. This Pokemon, I would never use this in a casual playthrough. In a competitive setting, maybe for trolling. Like as I said with Shell Smash, maybe for trolling. Or for a quick sweep against some noobs, but that's it. Right, in my opinion, is just lazy design. I don't hate it, but I think it is lazy. Ice-type Jinx, I don't want to elaborate anymore. This Pokemon was in some racist controversy in the past. Looks weird, looks off, looks too humanoid, looks ugly, I don't care. It's Jinx. I don't think anyone is gonna disagree. Steel type. I have to go with Probopass. Probopass is meh to me. The nose hair is off, the size of the nose itself is off, the whole design is kind of all over the place. Can't really tell you why, except for the big nose and nose hair. Maybe it's just like the head and the eyes, and the fact that it's flying around, or levitating at least. But I don't know. Doesn't do it for me. It looks like a grandpa's head, I mean, flying around, all metal, steel, I mean. I don't know. Not really my vibe. And I think a lot of people actually agree. Probopass is, if I remember correctly, like one of the least liked steel types. So it shouldn't come to a surprise with me picking Probopass as my least favorite steel type. Dragon type is probably the most difficult one for me, because I like all dragon types, kinda, like some more, some less, obviously, but with dragon types it was difficult, and I had to pick one. I went through the list. I had to go with Eternatus. Eternatus, gameplay wise, is probably even too strong, so I hate playing against Eternatus, and when I play Eternatus, it just feels unfair most of the time, except for maybe, I mean, the opponent needs a good counter, and if the opponent doesn't have a good counter, they're done for. Dragon poison type, just too much. Deals with fairy even, so the only type that was introduced to counter dragon just gets countered, and it's by poison, so it's just weird. But the design is my favorite. It reminds me of the Ultra Beasts. It's just too much. It's like an object, like it's as if they had a bring your kids to work day, and they told the kids, come on now, how about we may have a fun activity, all of you design 1 or 2 Pokemon yourself. And one of the kids drew this abomination, and they just went with it. I don't know what this is supposed to be. Some failed experiment? Why is it so sharp? Why does it look like a machine? How does it live? All the legendary Pokemon at least kinda make sense, right? But this one is just another Ultra Beast, and you know how I feel about Ultra Beasts. It's just too much, once again, too much. Gameplay wise, it's pretty good. It was nerfed, so it cannot Dynamax because it would be way too strong if it could. But design wise, I don't know, definitely too much in my opinion. And now, last and least, because it's about the least favorite Pokemon, Fairy type. Also, probably fairly obvious, because most Fairy types are good, or at least in the alright tier. I have to go with Klefki. Klefki is one of those lazy ones, in my opinion. Object becoming Pokemon. Someone just saw their keychain, and was like, yo, my deadline is tomorrow, I gotta make a Pokemon, make it a key. As I said, lazy. Steel Fairy type is the best type combination in the game, arguably. Most defensive, one of the best offenses. But then all it does is just be a support Pokemon, paralyzing opponents, doing almost no damage, and also its defenses are also not the craziest to justify. It's like it's kind of useless. I think so, at least. But yeah, whatever. This has been my list. Here, a picture with all of them next to each other, so you don't have to go back to remind yourself who I like least. But yeah, once again, this has been me, Panacotta. Thank you for listening. Feel free to check out the other videos on this channel. We upload like multiple people upload on this channel, so it's different content every time. But yeah, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, whatever you were doing here, and see you next time.